Namaste, one and all. It gives me immense pleasure in introducing our Satyanarayan ji, who was a guiding force behind the Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas in Arunachal Pradesh. In the late 1972, he joined Vivekananda Kendra as a full-time life worker, and since that time he is in Arunachal Pradesh, serving the northeastern end of our motherland. He was a life worker and was an educational officer for all the 25 residential schools in Arunachal Pradesh till 1992. Then he was a library movement enthusiast, and he introduced the non-formal education in Arunachal Pradesh. His interest for the library movement created interest among the volunteers of Lower district, and he has created wide range of activities through the library movement in Arunachal Pradesh. He was honored with Padma Shri in the year 2020 for his tremendous work in Arunachal Pradesh. It gives me pleasure in introducing. I was in the Arunachal Pradesh working with him during his tenure as educational officer of the Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas. Over to Vasudevji. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sukumar. Now over to Satyan for his podcast.
Namaste and greetings to all the members who are attending this Vasudha program. I am profoundly thankful to Vasudevji for having very graciously invited me over to share a few moments of our experiences in environmental sensitization in Arunachal Pradesh, started by the VKVs right from 1977. I am also very grateful that a large number of people, both within the Vivekananda Kendra organization as well as outside, and many NGOs and eminent scholars, and also a number of inspiring biographies have given these ideas. It's not anyone's but individual. It's a collective wisdom of so many thousands of people. I am sharing a few glimpses of that. I am deeply grateful to the then VKSPV Shiksha Prasar Vibhag Dibrugarh team members, ably supported by the VKV principals, teachers and the staff, for so spiritedly taking up the cause of the enlightened all-round education, in which environmental sensitivity is a very important component. But for their understanding, teamwork and single-minded focus on what is good for Arunachal students, this would not have been possible today. My words are inadequate to express my gratitude and indebtedness to the VKV students who, with abundant love and affection, have contributed to this movement called the Joy of Reading. It's the full credit for bringing alive this library movement, and the Joy of Reading movement in Arunachal belongs to them and the young Arunachali youth who followed them after 2003. My heartfelt gratitude to them. Also to a large number of individuals and members outside in the community who have, even though they are not directly connected with the library movement, have taken up the cause and supported and promoted the library movement, as well as an all-round eco-sensitive education to the Arunachali youth. So this is my humble tribute to all of them. Though very few could be named in such a note of thanks. When we came in 1979 to Arunachal, Arunachal was just the thing. It was still having the glow of the Nifa. There were beautiful, vast expanses of forests, untouched by man or the pollution, the garbage, the plastic threads. As many of the writers who have poured over their admiration and adoration for the nature's beauty, we too, from the 79 till the next 3 decades, could abundantly experience these wonderful feelings. So wherever we used to go, long hours we used to travel in the VKSPV vehicle, but without seeing any garbage anywhere on the road. The roads were completely clean and hardly any population. For hours, miles together, we couldn't see a single soul other than a few cattle. Same way, there were beautiful scenario of rainbows, little waterfalls, huge gigantic trees. Then especially for those from the south, the enchanting and very, very huge banana leaves and sparkling waters. All of them were, touching anyone's soul. Anyone who comes to Arunachal would have been enchanted by this. This is what we have seen. We also had the occasion to see people collecting the traditional vegetable plant thing, which for their thing. They were no more, they were in those days at least not dependent on the market supplies coming from Assam. Also, we could see in the evenings large number of fireflies, frogs croaking, and in the late evenings and early mornings, jackals howling. These were all, and huge snails walking inside our quarters. These were wonderful, new experiences for someone who has come from outside. Alas, the time goes, and just like the entire world, Arunachal too has changed. Today, as the time passed, the decades passed, large number of changes have come. Not everything for our happiness. Deforestation has been rampant. There has been timber mills coming, exploitation, cutting down of huge majestic trees which once warmed our hearts. I still remember the huge Rudraksha trees in the rowing town, and just behind the VKV school campus, within the campus itself there was a forest which the children used to pretend with several stories and that weaving this is the end of the world. And later came the unplanned colonies, and then came the opium farming, monoculture, and slowly the streams and the waterfalls started vanishing, and we found pesticide and chemical pollution seeping into the waters. And today, just like any other urban city which has been growing, Arunachal is also afflicted by this consumerism. As just 2 days back I read in the Indian Express, and Indian Institute of Science researchers have reported that there is good standard of living but poor quality of life. Perhaps this is not applicable not just to Bangalore, but it could be probably to many town areas of Arunachal also, which is something which is of concern to all of us. But then we who have taken the name of Swamiji as our guide, we have come with the spirit that when there is a challenge, we have to face. We cannot just run away. So our entire life in the VKVs, and then later on also others who have stayed on in Arunachal, there have been a life of experiments and explorations, which I would just classify it in more or less in 4 stages, I would say, with reference to what my contact and my knowledge is. First is what the VKVs could do in promoting an environmental sensitivity and education. From my association 79 to 2002, then we had also an intervention in terms of medicinal plants exploration for about 5-6 years. And in the meantime, the library movement came up, and then later on I shifted totally to the promoting the challenges of or facing the challenges of reading deprivation. That is what I am now thinking. Now, of course, the happiest thing is that there are many more who have come forward to take the movement forward. We have done our little bit, and we will continue to do, but then there should be more to continue the movement. As far as VKVs are concerned, I would say that the very fundamental principle of VKV education has been the Gandhian ideals of trusteeship and self-reliance. Though it may not have been written down in a sort of a guideline or a preamble or a philosophy in writing, every one of the VKV institution or VKV members who worked in the early years understood that there's a challenge. We have limited resources, limited access to resources, because the towns were very far away. The VKV schools were very, very far from town and urban facilities. We have to innovate, and we have to create and sustain a culture of self-reliance which is in tune with the life of the people. This is what the VKV in the early years have so splendidly done. I would identify a few areas which I feel are very, very relevant and very, very thought-provoking to the present day generations. One is that self-reliance in organic vegetable growing in the schools. This was absolutely essential because our funds were very limited, and procuring, even if we want to buy vegetables also, it was not possible for many schools like Neosa, Shergaon, Hailiang. So it was absolutely essential. Even schools like Kharsang and Jairampur also, going to town was another 10-15 kilometers. So this was necessary, and our then secretary Shri Vasudevan had taken a very right direction to the movement, that every school was encouraged to grow vegetables to the extent of their ability and manpower and resources. So this was followed by many principles. Almost everybody tried to contribute something, but I would definitely mention with gratitude Shri Karmani sir in Kharsang and Srimati Rita Didi in Sonpura. This I specifically remember, but many others also would have equally contributed. We also had the pleasure of introducing the first time vermicompost cultivation and use in Arunachal, sometime in middle of late 80s, I believe. That was because of our coming to know about Professor Bhide, M.R. Bhide, who was an environmental scientist in Pune, and in his talk on EMRC Pune, we understood that this is a potential of great importance to Arunachal, and we invited him, and Professor Bhide sir came, and in VKV Oyan they produced for the first time vermicompost, and that knowledge was shared by so many other VKVs also. This was one of the finest thing I would consider of VKV's contribution to Arunachal's environmental scenario, though it may not have been mentioned anyway. The equally interesting I would consider when I look back is the 1992 Vivek Jyoti. Just before the walkathon, there were local awareness programs with the community, with the government schools. This produced some excellent activities, tree plantation, cleanliness campaign. I still remember VKV Sejusa. The boys used to, the students used to go running in the morning thing, and while coming, those days the roads wherever nearby were there full of cow dung. Even now many places it is still there. roads used to be full of cow dung, and it was also risky for the people as well as it's an eyesore. So these students, while coming back after their running, used to collect the cow dung and bring it back to VKV Sejusa under Shri Chandrasekharappa's leadership. So this was something very, very nice and very, very contributing to the environment, I would believe. Then, of course, side by side, VKVs also gave a lot of importance to tree plantation in our own campuses. So many teachers have contributed. I think again I would mention only a few names just came to my mind. I will have jotting down. Many others also have to be mentioned, but due to shortage of time, not doing that. Late Shri Somanathan and PG Murli sir in VKV rowing had done lot of tree plantation, especially with the forest department support. Kadam trees were number of hundreds of trees were planted. Similarly, also in VKV Tafragam and in Sonpura, Shri Shanmuga Sundaram, who is now an advocate in Tirunelveli, he as principal of VKV Sonpura had done extensively tree plantation. We still see those trees and feel very happy. Another very important thought which came to our teachers and those who are associated with is that idea that since our resources are very limited, we must promote the idea of refuse, reuse and recycle and make use of them for art and creativity. This long before the government declared the concept of refuse, reuse and recycle. In 81-82, Shri K. Murli from Calicut, who now has retired from the postal department and who is a very active yoga teacher connected with Kanyakumari also. He has done lot of greeting card preparation using extremely low materials, also local herbal dyes. This was something very unique, and the VKV Tafragam and Jiridin students were expert. They have brought out large number of greeting cards of this. I have one right now with me, but unfortunately I could not bring it over to show. And also VKV rowing, especially the students from Anini, were highly talented, artistic. So all of them, since the drawing sheet and materials were so limited, whatever was available they converted into a creativity, expression of creativity. This was, I think, one of the finest way the VKVs have contributed to environmental sensitivity. Also very important was the concept, again the Gandhian concept of thinking with hands, importance of skill development. Balakrishna used to say that children, all these children are very good in with the hands-on training, so we must encourage that, and schools have definitely been doing that thing. They have been doing, boys schools have been doing many things, bamboo craft, making brooms, and in the case of girls schools, it went far ahead of that. Not just only producing for the production sake, they made it much more useful to their own. The training in tailoring and uniform stitching and sweater weaving, and in the the early 90s carpet weaving was introduced. These were not only learning creativity but also a vocational skill imparting, and I'm sure that those who have learned this, definitely looking back to their school days, would say, yes, now also I can make something which is useful to my family. As I said, this Gandhian principle of thrift and self-reliance was deep through running the spirit of those days. It was not only a philosophy, but it was a necessity also. And in many ways, the VKVs have been able to do. That is one very remarkable example, I would say, is the book binding training given by Shri Dure sir in so many schools. He not only trained the students, he trained even the bhaiyas, the non-teaching staff, so that when their vacation, these people can do book binding activity of library books, as well as collecting we used to collect back all the notebooks from at the end of the year, take out the blank sheets and stitch it up into notebooks, which could be given to students who did not have, or we did not have sufficient notebook, these books came very useful. Same way, another very innovative and very practical suggestion which not done in many schools in India is reusing textbooks. VKVs used to do it for 3 years, and in this an idea we got it from the American schools. There it is 5 to 6 years a textbook is reused. Why dump textbook just after 1 year use? So we used to insist that students will not write their name, they will only write the roll number. So roll number can be given to the next team also. Same thing, it was very important from the beginning. All the children were told not to tear paper from their notebooks. So how to prevent this when so many students are there? It was very easy. We decided a method, writing down page numbers. As soon as you are given a notebook, you have to do page numbering, 1 to 60, 1 to 80. So that anybody, a teacher or education officer or anybody can random check whether the pages are torn off. Instead of that, we have very generously encouraged the use of slates. Right up to, I think, till 1995-96, our students, right in up to class 9 and 10, they were using slates. And I feel very sad that today's students are no more able to use the slates. Either they are not available, or the teachers have not been taking the trouble to encourage them to use. Reusing a slate is one of the finest way to save our environment, paper and the cost, and as well as saving a lot of money for the parents. And that will be a good value, and I'm sure our senior most students will still be remembering the rough work they used to do on the slates, even in class 9 and 10. And in the later years, when the day scholars came, schools like VKV Itanagar introduced that instead of spending lavishly on birthdays in cake and other things, keep that minimum, but gift a book, library book to your school library, so that years later, decades later, your child's name will be remembered. I think some of these were small activities, but would have made a remarkable mark in the minds of those who are participants in this. This is what I believe. Equally, from the beginning, we have given importance to scientific aptitude and creating curiosity, and also promoting traditional knowledge. Many activities were being conducted, as I said, the herbal dyes, preparation from flowers, leaves, and this was all part of once Arunachal's tradition or Northeast tribal tradition. We try to do a little bit. I wouldn't say we have done it in a very big way, but later on, when our school started participating in the science camps and science exhibition, science seminar, the teachers have done it in a much more systematic way. But we have done. That was a time when fortunately we got introduced to the Center for Environment Education, Ahmedabad. Around 1986, my cousin Bhaskaran, who was then a scientific officer, and he retired as a very senior nuclear scientist from BRC, Mumbai. He took me to Center for Environment Education, and we met some of the scientists there, and we were quite impressed by the environmental connection which they were trying to build with the school students. So we participated in the first Eastern India Science Camp in 1987. Okin Megha, our VKV Jayarampur student, won the first prize in the Eastern India Science Camp for his innovation on rainwater and stream water harvesting for agriculture in the hills of Upper Dibang Valley. Using only bamboo, when pipeline supplies were not there, the villagers used to take water from the hill source right up to their field down below, rice field. So this he made a working model, and this won the first prize, and he received a handsome price of 15,000 rupees per month. We all felt very happy, and fortunately today Dr. Okin is a very respected doctor in rowing, and we continued that CE association when the National Environment Awareness campaign started in 87. VKVs were requested to do the program and they gave us some funds. Say, I think probably for the five senior schools. But the VKV teachers and the team managed this fund so well that instead of 5, we could do the programs in 9 schools. So the CE was extremely very pleased with the way the money has been better utilized for the welfare of students from such remote areas, and CE's association continued for many years after that. I must also mention here the scientific curiosity and skills. Our first batch VKVN Bharat Lingi from rowing, he had made a model, a working model of the solar system using only bamboo sticks and thread. It definitely should have won a prize had it been taken to any national program. It was such a beautiful thing, but unfortunately it could not be carried anywhere. It was such a delicate thing. Yeah. Okay. So these were some of my glimpses. Now I will come to what I was able to learn and explore and after 2003 in the community. With the it started in a very interesting way, my association with the medicinal plants explorations. In around 1998, when I was in Italian, the VKVN doctor Mika Umpo, I met. He said there is a patient here who is 90% burn injury and there is no medicine in Dibang Valley, neither in Italian nor in the Animi district headquarters, district hospital. What can you do? Can you do something? So fortunately, our at Dibrugarh we have still now very good connection, patronage with the Jalan group and the Surajmal Jalan Charitable Trust in Dibrugarh. When we approached them, immediately they sanctioned 25,000 rupees for purchase of medicines, and those days Anini, reaching the medicine up to Anini would have taken 5 days or 6 days. How many rivers have to be crossed? Then from rowing to Anini there was no sure of way of reaching the medicines. But thanks to our brother Sukumar, who was in Dibrugarh office, he went to the Arunachal government office, regional officer, and convinced him to take the entire medicine free by helicopter. So within 1 day of purchasing the medicines, entire medicines reached Anini. From there, Dr. O'Kane arranged to send it to Dr. Mika, and we were later on, I was very happy to know that that lady's life could be saved. This was something which gave so much of inspiration, but also a thought that herbal health could be tapped for basic healthcare awareness and promotion. We cannot depend on external medicines, and the indigenous traditional medicinal plants have to be channelized into the home. Thus developed the idea that herbal kitchen garden. This was thanks to the support of 2 organizations. I would say the FRLHT Bangalore, where our friend Dr. P.M. Munikrishnan was there, as well as in the State Forest Research Institute, Dr. Haridasan ji. He is there now. He is in the Ahalya, is a Green Ahalya as advisor. Dr. Haridasan ji is considered one of the most eminent scientists, authorities on the medicinal plants of Arunachal. So Dr. Haridasan ji took a lot of interest in training us. I was totally new to. I didn't know any plant other than a few vegetables. So, but he trained us so well, and many other friends, especially our VKVNs. By then, many of them had passed out. They took lot of interest in taking the movement forward. So the Hubs for Better Health was an organization we formed, and volunteers were there. And there we had the volunteers like since we got an opportunity to participate in a program in Teju. There was a Brahmaputra Mela. The VKVNs in Tafragam alumni like Dr. Sheelavati, then Bapenlu, and Baking, who is from the first batch. Later on, she got a her work on medicinal plants promotion among students. She got a Ford Fellowship and she went to US. So this is how the VKV has been directly and indirectly promoting awareness, and we have done extensive work in also tree plantation. Today, if you can see in Teju Township, Bapenlu Cree, who is the executive engineer now, she has her the plantations of Pongami and other trees can be seen all over the Teju town. So also other members have done the similar tree plantation in Rowing town. Some of them VKV and some of them those who are from other organizations. And FRLHT's medicinal plants posters, it was another great useful thing. It could explain to the common people the simplest way how the importance of medicinal plants in our use. So these exhibitions were also useful. We have conducted it in many places in Lohit and Dibang Valley. In fact, my area of operations by then had been confined to only this belt, the Lohit and Dibang valleys. So here are some of the photos you can see in that. And fortunately, we also had the pleasure of our VKVN Shri Kaling Tang, now the Principal Commissioner in Itanagar government of Arunachal Pradesh, and he's there in the photograph, as also Shri late SNS Reddy, the Principal VKV Tafragam, who also took lot of interest in supporting this sort of activities. Yeah. Then moving on, at the same time we also were in the winter months when the medicinal plants activities were there, we were trying to start the reading, reaching out the reading to the people who are the reading deprived and reading deficient. But informally it came about thanks to the district administration support, and the AWIC organization in Delhi came forward, and our present Deputy Chief Minister Shri Chonamenji's effort, a library came up in Teju and the library movement got started. And all through the effort of the library movement was not just to read for reading's sake, but to make the reading connected to our life and connected to make an impact in the life of the people of Arunachal. So that is why you see there's an art exhibition is going, art workshop is going on in the Bambusa library in the first photograph, and then we have the next one, a skit presented by the students of Apna Vidya Bhavan Vakro, and on tree plantation and protection of wildlife. And here we have also had the pleasure of many scientists, wildlife scientists, visiting our libraries. The library at Vakro, Apne library, became a center which was been visited by so many wildlife scientists. Here is eminent butterfly expert Sanjay Sondhi and the snake expert Dr. Das demonstrating how you should be aware about the handling snakes, risks, and how you should deal with snakes. And Sanjay Sondhi ji also wrote an article in Terra Green of his experiences. That's the thing. We also took the creativity to the culture. So during September, there is a taking the tradition of Onam festivals, flower decoration, and combining with the Solung festival on September, we conducted a series of for about 4 or 5 years in Vakro, the Onam Solung festival Rangoli contest. This was not just Rangolis for the sake of Rangoli, it was also to create awareness that these are our traditional wealth, they should be protected and they should be properly used. We also had some activities like green mapping of Vakro town using entire green materials. So here are the children preparing different models of Vakro town's layout, and these were all between the 2006 to 2007 to 2014. And side by side, we also had opportunities to highlight our volunteers' talent and activity in the AWIC National Library International Library Conference in Delhi, where our library volunteers from Apne Library Wakro presented for the first time the importance of handling waste, refuse, reuse, recycle. That was a message, and it was done through a skit, and it was highly appreciated by the entire audience in Delhi. Continuing that, we also did lot of tree plantation even during those days in Wakro as well as in other places. As I said about Teju, I have already said, rowing I have said. So in Wakro also the community was involved, and here is one of the eminent members of the Wakro community, Mrs. Nail, leading a team for doing tree plantation. Number of students were involved in the thing, and we also popularized Pongamia seeds we got from Mysore, thanks to our brother Bhushan and Vishwanathji from the Vivekananda Trust Mysore. They generously supplied those seeds which today can be seen all over Rowing and Teju town and Wakro areas. Also Lakshmi Taru, we got it from the other Bangalore, and we also had an exposure to the students on how to repair solar lights. In between, I would just say VKV had a brief intervention effort to popularize solar system thanks in 1993 thanks to an NEC grant to set up solar systems in our schools. I didn't mention that, but that somehow did not succeed well because it was too early for the solar systems to become stable. But it was a very good intervention because it gave the people and the students a lot of idea about how the solar systems work. During 2013, we had also a very interesting program sensitizing the people about the importance of traditional rice. The Save Rice campaign in 2013 was organized by the Tunnel organization from Thiruvananthapuram. They did three programs rather. In Namsai, the Kuntanau Society led by Dr. Sheelavati and Timita Munyak, senior VKVians, and in Sonpura and as well as in Rowing under Rivaj, the Save Rice campaign, large number of local people participated, and the Tunnel team stressed upon them the importance of traditional rice conservation. In 2017, in Rowing again with Rivaj, there was a zero waste management program again by the Tunnel group led by its expert Shri Shibu and the very active support of the DC Rowing. It was a very good program, and later on it led to some sort of activism in Rowing town for the next couple of years. We have been using skits as one of the finest way to put across ideas. This was something new. I think it is mainly the library movement which has popularized the skits. With hardly any makeup, the students were able to perform small plays in using their own traditional and using props, but giving important message to the community through stories, then life of great people, as well as very touching exposure to themes like opium addiction, early child marriage of girls. So in this we found it was really useful, very good place where on inspiring lives of Dr. Varghese Kurian and Dr. Kamla Soni, both of which said that you should have a scientific orientation in life. You can do things even if the entire world is against you. These two experiences were something very nice, I would think. And here is a bit, and this we did with using not only in English and Hindi but through the mother language. You play this audio, this one. Play. Sound is not coming. I think sound is not coming. I'm sorry. I don't know why. This is George Washington Carver, an inspiring figure, a boy who was totally neglected by the white community, facing all odds and promoting agriculture and giving a new life to the black people. And his experiences, his life inspiration is really very much relevant to Arunachal young people, that they can also make a move in this direction thing. Next one. We also used poems to sensitize the people and spread ideas. You can do that, na? Here is one. You do that, Bandaraya. Here is a very interesting poem on alcoholism. Why is it not coming, my dear?
Sound is full, but it's not coming.
Not coming, na? I'm sorry, I'm unable to. Maybe at Vasudevji's end, maybe they will be able to do. I can't hear anything here. Okay, it's okay. We also had the All India Radio coming to our help, especially after the Corona, when all sorts of communication with the people were cut off. All India Radio Teju was a great support and encouraged us to do a number of Yuvavani programs, and one of them was on environment, community and the forest. And our volunteer Kesilu Tang presented a poem, very famous poem by Vikram Seth on elephant and the tragopan. Just see whether it will play. Yeah, this one. Unfortunately, this is also not coming. Okay. So this again, when Shri Vikram Seth actually visited last year our library, it was such a great pleasure for him to see that one of our volunteers had presented his poem in All India Radio. And I am very, very happy to say that out of all these churning, thinking, discussions, some of our own volunteers have become very committed professional eco-activists. One of them is Bithem Marai, who is a Wipro Earthian working in rowing, and she has been doing a lot of presentations, training program for students and sensitizing teachers in rowing and Dibang Valley and Lohit area. And she has also been representing Arunachal in several conferences on environment supported by Wipro. So that is something we feel very happy that there are people who will carry forward these ideas, which originally very strongly promoted by VKVs, but now it is spreading over to a large number of other people. They are carrying on the efforts. I am only telling some of them. I cannot cover everything. We also have a young volunteer from rowing again, Nia Tapo, who is already known to NARDEP. For NARDEP has published one of her stories. She has written an article about her grandmother, one of the women, and the story is, you can show that? I thought I kept it here. 134. Where is it? I can't see. Yes. Can you show this picture? How will it be possible?
You can show from there. Yes.
This is the book. In this page 134, Nia Tapo's story is there. She has written about a village grandmother who has been doing extremely very well to promote local indigenous traditional practices and traditional seeds and plants. So these are some of the... you can go ahead. We also were able to, through these sessions, we were also able to bring out many interesting books to the young people, especially the government school students. Books like Silence Praying, then Shri Arvind Gupta's Kabad Se Jugaad, and then the SFRI's Medicinal Plants of Arunachal Pradesh, and also set examples that we can, by our own little actions, make a difference. So that is how, when our senior volunteers now have come out into the field, they have started a lot of environmental activities. I mentioned about the senior VKVN Bapen Lukri. She is now the executive engineer in charge of environment and urban development, and under her inspiring leadership, lot of activities is going on in Teju. Our own library volunteers and senior members, led by Bithem, has taken the lead to clean up the river bed, and that is photo you can see here. They have piled up. This is just a small collection they have been able to make. So imagine the amount of garbage which is being spreading over Arunachal, and how different it was 40 or 50 years back. And I'm also very happy to introduce our senior most volunteer, Manisha Halai, who is now training up as a docu-film director on environment. And recently the film in which she was part of it, The Blurred Boundaries, Mishmis and Forest, was well received in several corners. And under Bithem's guidance, lot of programs are going on. We also in the library movement tie up with all such people, and we do lot of awareness program in this through the library thing. We also had the pleasure of the senior VKVN Sergeant Captain Marek Pertin. He is one of the renowned eco-activist and wildlife photographer, the senior most Navy officer from Arunachal, visiting us, and he has been giving talks to many groups of students and different platforms. He has also visited IITs and given talks about that. So he is a very close well-wisher and a mentor for the library movement. So this, in short, I have given some few impressions of what experiments we have been doing and what experiences we have been undergoing, receiving, and what the challenges ahead are there for us and those who come after us. I once again thank Vasudevji and the Vasudha team for giving us this wonderful opportunity to present this talk, and helping me with in this presentation was our senior volunteer Nishan Lukri. She is attending the program. It's thanks to her the internet connectivity and the signal, everything has been safely on, and I was able to give this talk. Thank you very much, everybody. Namaste.
Thanks, Satyan, for the wonderful presentation. Our colleagues can ask questions if they have. If Madan is there, Madan can take it.
Yeah, thank you, Satyanarayan ji, for a very interesting narrative account of a natural expression. After a long time, seeing your face has been a very good thing, and so natural was your expression. Vivekananda Kendra Naradap was also instrumental, like a squirrel, at some point of time during your tenure being in Arunachal, where we did a national environmental awareness campaign, where we did, myself and Sunil came over there for doing a sketch. Yes. So that was a nice memory of us, where in which we went to each and every school, made the students to act the skits on the environmental awareness, which was funded by the Ministry of Environment at that point of time. It was a very, I was recalling when all the skits are being shown, somewhere some roots or some seeds of our work also is there. That is a way in which we associate with such great cause. It's nice listening.
Thank you so much, Madan.
Yeah. The other thing, we are really pleased about the work which you do with the library part of it, which has been a very immense work, wherein which, in fact, we in Dan Foundation, we try to bring out a magazine called Namadu Manvasam in Tamil, and also Pragati Jyoti in Kannada, in Marathi in Yashaswini. These are the three magazines we bring. we have a bigger challenge in terms of reaching the illiterate community in terms of communicating the through our own language, because we work with self-help group association for which we have a social capital as such. So we look forward for your because you have been working in a different terrain and who have been much more, the communities have been of a different order, though you have been working with students. I would like to look forward for your reflections on how to reach the vast knowledge which we have been inheriting from the past and the present to the communities at large, and banking on the traditional wisdom. How best we could see the grassroots knowledge also is being spread to the other. So I would look forward for your inputs on that, which will shape my journey as one of the persons who have been working for a Reflection Publication Trust. Over to Satyanarayan for his reflection.
Thank you, Madan. I'm sorry I forgot about your visit. I was remembering that somehow it didn't come in the thing. Definitely, we remember very fondly those memories, yourself and Sunil's visit and those activities. I would consider it's more like a divine grace that we have been able to do whatever we could do, and that is because of the excellent trust and emotional attachment the VKVs have built up during the school days with the teachers and nothing. So if the children and the students, once they were having affection, even when they grow up also, they would feel will go out of the way to support anybody who is trying to do. In fact, I am one of the finest examples in that, how the entire community is supporting me. So I think we will have to explore the ways and means by which the developing the trust and that mutual understanding has to come. When this comes, lot of activities becomes. I mean, you yourself know how many successful social activists have shown that it is possible to win over the faith and the trust of the people. There are people like Eklavya doing the Hoshangabad experiment. Then there were Aruna Roy working in Rajasthan, and so many others. Very renowned names are there. So all of them, I am sure, would have survived, or they have succeeded only because of the trust we could develop within each other. So I think that ultimately boils down. Otherwise, there's no other magic. Techniques, of course, help a little bit, and open-mindedness from we want the community to respond to us in a positive way or in a way we desire. I think we have to be largely open-minded, and a lot of patience also is required. I know that.
Satya, away from your talk, I would like to know, Sukumar has not mentioned, why people call you Uncle Musa. Can you tell the story about it?
Oh, there is not much of a story, Vasudevji, because my name is very long. If I start writing articles and poems and stories for children, they would hardly be able to remember. So a short, small name was required, and when I started telling stories and children used to connect, the best way was to tell Uncle Musa. And then later on, when Yobardi started carrying those letters under Breezy Meadows, when Lakshmi Didi requested me, so it came as a very nice pen name. That's all. There is nothing more than that.
Very good, very good.
I'm very happy to see Dure sir's daughter Aruna here. And I must also mention one thing. I just when I saw her, I remembered we were the last person. Sukumar, Aruna, and myself were the last person to meet Captain G on February 2024. I would like to add his name also in the group of eco activists. He was one who lived his life in frugal thing, need less from the nature, from the environment. All along, I have never seen him taking bath in a hot water anywhere. In the coldest of Shargaon, he has taken bath in the river in the cold water Rupa. And he has been, even when he was in 22, he was invited to this 6 Kumao's Kumao headquarters. There also he could have gone. They gave him first class ticket. He refused. He said no. I am a not thing. I will travel by second class. And he had only one single sweater and the thing. He carried so less in his person till his last day. He was a person who demanded least from his surroundings. Whatever he had, he used to distribute. Even that day, Aruna and Sukumar also brought lot of things for him. He did, whatever they brought for his some food items and all, he distributed to all the neighbors. So he was one person, demand less from the nature, and your life can be happy. He is an example. I am sure through this we also salute him for his wonderful contribution both within VKV and outside.
Satyanji, very impressive and enlightening talk. You have almost enlisted all the milestone achievements of VKV. Besides, you have also given a lot of information about library movement. Very down to earth talk. We were much inspired, and the same magnetic voice, bell metal voice you have now also. In some places we have become intensely nostalgic also. Thanks a lot. Words are not adequate to express our thankfulness.
Thank you.
A few words from me as well. So we're really happy to, be associated with such a noble soul. Children who'd been calling him Uncle Musa. Today, my daughter has also started calling him Uncle Musa. So such is the connect we have with our dear Uncle Musa. So, hats off to what all he is doing, and glad that we are kind of associated with him, and we'd be really happy to participate in the library movement. I'd been telling him that once I'll visit Arunachal and try to participate in the movement. Yes, I'll be definitely doing that soon, sir. And pleasure really being associated with you. Nice to have you, sir.
Thank you, Aruna.
Professor.
Namaste, Satyanarayan ji and everybody else. My name is Sanjay Banerjee. I work in Amrita School of Business in Coimbatore, which is a part of Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham University. And we have lots of schools, Amrita Vidyalayas. And I was wondering, how your experience with the schools in the remotest eastern part of India, Arunachal Pradesh, could be transferred to, let's say, Amrita Vidyalayam schools and other schools, and promote the idea. One thing that struck me very much is the skits in the local languages. That is something, if we are able to present matter in the local language to the masses, that will have a much greater impact. So, I was wondering how to, as they call it, scale up, take your experience on a larger kind of a landscape and how to do that. This is what I'm wondering. I don't know how to express myself, but how can we, take your experience with schools and libraries and environmental awareness? Way back when people are not talking about sustainable development, you started doing these things in the late 70s and early 80s. It's a very, very wonderful thing. Lots of things to learn from this. And one is this, taking it to our own schools and other schools. And second, how can we prepare some kind of a case study which can be taught in business schools, and all young managers, who are budding managers, they can be taught that how sustainability can be taken to the grassroots level and practiced, and that should be taught to business students. These are two of the ideas that I thought I'd share. If you can throw some light, I'll be grateful. Namaste and thank you once again for a very wonderful presentation. I do hope that we'll get a hard copy of your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Namaste, Satyan. It was really inspiring. You see, I feel that most of us, we talk about sensitivity, we talk about sustainable development, and we talk about sustainable life. I feel here is a person who In fact, I think I'm sure all of you will agree that we have read about Gandhiji, we have read about his principles, but how they can be transferred to the younger and the future generations. I mean, your team happens to be an example. See, working for a school also, it has taught us so many things. We feel, in fact, we are convinced that words will not inspire the children. I mean, words are just, it's like this. They hear it through the 1 ear and then let it out. Because the priorities of life are so important to all of us that we talk about and then forget about it. But if a person who can transfer the Gandhian philosophy into life, I think that's really wonderful. And second thing which both of us agree with you is that not much of equipment or team or anything is necessary. If a person is sincere, if a person is committed to a focused on a cause, I mean, he or she can achieve anything and everything in life. And the third point, which I totally I trust, is the grace. And how does this grace come? When your sensitivity towards other beings, not only human beings, including the nature as such, it gets transferred into your behavior. You practice what you are preaching. I think the grace will dawn on you. It's like Sri Ramakrishna saying that you have a sail and there is breeze. Only thing is you have to open up that sail so that the boat will travel. And in your case, I think the sail, in our cases, the sail is our practice. If you practice what we preach, nothing is impossible. And I'm sure that you'll continue to inspire us. I mean, you have already inspired so many people to not only talk about sustainability, but let's live it. And thank you, sir. And we were inspired.
Satyanarayan as a question to you.
Very kind words.
Satyanarayan, now that you have built a good amount of a network among people and a good amount of grassroots work in the area which is needed as such, now how do you see a thought movement which was envisaged by Eknathji of Tyaga and Seva? Now you have been building a reading habit and also environmental sensitization of a different movement of its kind. How do you see it being taken after you or after next, and what is the sustainability of initiatives? I happen to hear that you have a friend of next person who was helping you in this process of delivering the thing. How is the local community being empowered to take up this work to see that it sustains for a longer period?
Yeah, in fact, this is the whole library movement is an example of how it is being taken for. In fact, library movement is not myself. It is these volunteers, all are local Arunachali girls and boys who have been part of the movement and taking it in their own little places. Very often they are not from the same, they don't stay in the same places. They have been together for some occasions, but we do come together. But otherwise they are all based in the Bithem Marai, of whom I said, the Vipro Earthian. She stays in rowing, is about 1 hour now from you have been to rowing. Yeah, but she does the work from there. So in fact, we only said we are only postmen, giving the ideas, showing an example, and then others have to do. And since Arunachal is a place where the population is so scattered, a centralized approach is just not possible. So we were aware of this right in the beginning when the library movement started. Even when the first library came to us, we mentioned both to the AWIC and Shri Satyanarayanan sir, our deputy CM, sir, I won't keep a single library. It will be distributed among the people, so that people will take the responsibility of running the library, how to run the library, how to conduct an activity. So once the decentralization comes, the people will get confidence that we will run. So far in Arunachal, more or less it has been centralized model. They look up to Vivekananda Kendra, they look up to Ramakrishna Mission, they look up to Sharda Mission or so many others. You will come and do. Why should you come and do? Why don't you do yourself? So this question has to be continuously raised on several platforms. Library movement is one such thing. We don't claim big things. Obviously we don't claim. Our work is small, but we know that each one who is doing is a small, equally important work. So So I think that is the only way of decentralizing. So I am not worried about what will happen after me. All the work are being handled by large number of, I mean, then the number of volunteers have their own plans. A team is working now in Vakro to shift the library from one building to another. I have never been there at all. So once we know that, we need not hold on to it. And in Arunachal, it was very clear to me right from early 90s that everybody as such Vivekananda Kendra should do. Why should Vivekananda Kendra do? Somebody else can also do. If good work is done by Kendra, somebody else can do. Ramakrishna Mission is doing. Why don't you copy that model? So throwing the ball back to the people cannot be done in a very big way, but in small ways it can be done. You want to run a library, you have to manage your time. Give your time, your brothers and sisters will benefit. So this has been the approach. So I am not worried about what will happen to me after tomorrow. Absolutely, I am not at all worried. They will continue the activities in their own way. We don't have a single model. That's what I believe.
Pranam. I am Prakashant Mathani, and it was my great ways that I listened to you. Every word is a sort of learning to me, and not only learning, but it is a divine blessings also that we come across such a person. Two things which I thought I must talk, because one is that if there is a good seed, it will certainly get germinated whenever the right environment is there. So the question of continuity and perpetuity always remains there. If we are seeding good ideas in the society, they keep on moving over the period of time by their own people, or somebody will come and take it to the next level that is there. One thing just I wanted to know is that this Vivekananda Kendra movement in Arunachal Pradesh has a great contribution, because throughout my life I have heard a lot of stories, a lot of good learnings out of these Kendras. What exactly, how things are, as you mentioned that the pollution has increased, the society have changed over the period. What is your observation about the education system? Because Kendra has inbuilt a new system there, and society has moved in a big way. How government colleges and schools are adopting these models, number one. And apart from that, just you mentioned that there are other interventions also, like from Shri Ramakrishna Mission and others. Whether these initiatives have been mainstreamed in the education system of that area, which is certainly pristine, and it is very easy to move a good idea in these regions. Thank you, Pranam.
Prakashji, namaste. I think this subject is a very vast, and it has got so many layers of complexities. So I am not directly involved in the education, school education per se. It was only through the reading movement that I am connected. So I think perhaps this may not be the platform for us to discuss very elaborately on that. Perhaps Vasudevji may find out a suitable platform wherein the right people will speak.
If there are no reflections, over to Vasudevji for the final call.
Thank you, Satyan. Thanks, Satyan. Satyanarayan is from Kerala, but last 40 years he is in Arunachal Pradesh. He has become a part of Arunachal now. There is a saying that you can take a man out of the village, but you can't take a village out of the man. Same is the case with Satyan. Even if he comes to Kanyakumari or Kerala, the Arunachal will be always in his head. So you can't take Arunachal from Satyanarayan. That much identification has taken place in his case. That is something really marvelous. And because of that only he could achieve such wonderful results. As he rightly said, that the locals have so much trust in him. Otherwise he doesn't have a very grand personality or nothing like that, except his love for the English and sincerity. And although with a very fragile health, I know, even then the community is taking care of him. I am really proud of Satyan. Thanks a lot for coming and giving this podcast.
Thank you, Vasudevji. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for very kind listening and such introspecting remarks. Thank you so much.
Over to Sanjay ji for prayer. I think we will not have our regular review, because we should not lose the taste of Satyan's podcast.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Have a
a lot.
good day.
Thank you, Satyanji.